Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Lindsay.
What you drinking today?
I'm back on that Ginzolati. And what are you drinking?
What does that consist of?
Well, it is Captain Morgan spiced rum and pineapple Fanta. It goes way back into Ginzyville.
Yeah, check out our Wednesday recap to learn about those.
Yeah.
That origin story.
What about you? Tell me what you're drinking.
I've got a little bit of Bloody Mary left from our breakfast. We got about 2 ounces there left? No, that's about a cup.
She was tripping because I put cheese in mine. You ever put cheese in your Bloody Mary? Let me know.
But I got some bacon soaking in there that I'm going to chew on in a minute. And then I've also got a tangerine White Claw.
That'll hold you through probably. But you got a lot on your paper. Tell me what we're drinking about.
We are drinking about the Salem Witch Trials.
You sure it's not the Blair Witch Trials?
It's not the Blair Witch Trials.
I keep saying that. I don't care.
But do you know what?
It kind of ties? Tell
me. The same guys that did Paradise Lost documentaries did Blair Witch 2.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Wasn't that great of a movie, but
that's what I was looking for. Yeah. Some kind of full circle something or other on that. That's
Joe
cool.
Berlinger and is it? Oh God, and Sinofsky. Is it Bruce Sinofsky? Yes.
No, we're going off the dome on that one, right? You don't have to apologize for that one.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I love you guys. Y'all made a great docu-series, and you really helped those boys.
Yo, that last one was so awesome. This is a two-parter coming up right here.
Yes, we're doing part 1 today.
You know, I really got fired up at the end of that one. That last little series there was really cool. Everything that we've done here has just been a fun adventure, you know? So awesome. So awesome. I'm geeked up. Salem Witch Trials.
I know. It really just lets you know how history just repeats itself horribly.
Right.
Like all the bad just repeats itself. One of my favorites, the last podcast on the left, boys, they cover a 4-parter on this, and they kind of break down how every few decades this kind of shit happens. So with QAnon, we've actually been in a kind of another satanic panic lately that we're kind of oblivious to because we don't follow all that shit, but it's there. But hopefully at the end of this decade, we'll have some peace for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully. Cause, I do feel like it's already hit us once for sure. You know, with the satanic panic here.
We've had a couple in our lifetime. And the one we grew up with, I think, was the most impressionable for us. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were impressionable at that time. Young
we were children's. We were childs.
Satanic panic.
All right, you ready to get into it?
Well, you know, I was thinking about it, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and drink about it too.
Yeah, we're definitely going to drink about it. I took a sip of my Bloody Mary. Let me take a sip of the White Claw, get my throat moisturized.
Moisturization.
All right.
So I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're going to do this. Happy
Intro.
Friday. Happy Friday. Here we go. So I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. This one's a lot.
I'm gonna actually let you kind of go ham for a little bit because I feel like I've already talked way too damn much.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into just a little bit of the background of what was going on in 1692. So I'm gonna start with that, okay?
So you're going to how everything unfolded.
How everything unfolded. Right. All right, so the Puritans came over from England to escape religious persecution and establish a society where they could practice their religious beliefs freely. They felt that the Church of England was too similar to Catholicism, and Catholicism was not close enough to the strict teachings of the Bible. Henry VIII had created the Church of England because he wanted to divorce Catherine of Aragon and marry Anne Boleyn, so he could have a male heir.
Did he get married to the widow next door?
No. So the Catholic Church had actually refused to grant him a divorce. So he kind of made up his own shit so he could divorce, but still used a lot of Catholic practices.
Oh, so he had been married 7 times before.
Well, that was his first. He had a history. There was like, what, 8 wives of Henry VIII or something like that.
I'm thinking about a song.
And you know what's crazy is I have actually watched so much shit on Henry VIII and I cannot compute it right now because I'm on this.
Right.
All right. So they decided to come over here, take what already belonged to someone else. Hello, Native Americans.
Yeah.
And make it a Christian utopia.
Right. To change all their heathenistic ways, even though they were closer to God than
Well, they just wanted the land. They wanted this for them so they could make it their own.
Right.
And we're like, well, we're just kill off everybody honestly, that's in our way.
With being around a lot of Native Americans and some really traditional Native Americans, some of them still believe that they live godly, closer to God than anybody else.
And I believe that because they are close with the earth. And according to almost every religion, the God of that religion has created the earth.
Well,
right?
I mean, the Kiowa Nation, if you speak their language, you're speaking what God himself told you. Don't you ever deviate from that. But we did. We stripped it away from them.
So much.
Well, not we. I'm not taking part. I'm not partaking in any of that.
I'm going to say they because I don't believe that I would have been a part of that.
Yeah.
So the Puritans created their colony, Plymouth. In 1692, everything was really horrible. There was political uncertainty. King Philip's War was going on. There was a smallpox epidemic. Native American attacks because, they came over here and took all their shit. So, of course, they were attacking and trying to get it back.
Away from everything they know.
Yes. The religious beliefs were that witchcraft was God's punishment for sin through the devil and his minions. The court system so I've heard it called Orier and Terminer, but my last podcast boys, they say Oye and Termine, which to me sounds better. And I looked up, when I Googled the words. Yeah. So this means to hear and determine, and would use spectral evidence to convict. So,
Oye
speculation.
And Termine.
Yeah, Oye and Termine.
It sounds like you're like Lingaudium Leviosa.
It does.
It's Leviosa. It's in Termine, not in Termina. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
It's Termine, not Terminer.
Yeah,
okay.
Terminator.
There was a complete division in Salem. Salem town was a rich port town, and Salem Village was for poor farmers. There had been a little ice age, which had made farming extremely hard, and life in general was a complete suckfest. The Puritans, including the children, would work hard from dawn till dusk, and then spend the rest of their time studying the Bible, going to church, and praying.
Yeah, life in God. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Work in God.
Work in God. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Jesus and labor. Okay. So after researching all the events and hysteria that is to start in I'm about to do it. In 1692, I swear these people were bored out of their mind and needed some excitement.
Yeah. I mean, it's just literally, that's all you're doing. Waking up in the morning, working your ass off.
Praying
for
deliverance.
You're in fear.
Scared, just absolute fear.
Because everything
all
that
the time.
they have to have some kind of excitement, and their only excitement is fear.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So this would become a very deadly excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow up, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna take a sip on this one right here. Go ahead.
So now there had already been witch trials and executions in other countries like England, but it had actually become unfashionable over there at this time. It's no longer a fashion. It was not fashionable.
Nobody wanted to gather and see all the
They didn't want to burn the witches anymore. Yes. There was also something called ergot poisoning at the time, and that was a fungus that would infect the rye and wheat storage. And guess what? Everything they ate was.
Yeah. Rye and wheat.
Yeah.
And it was all infested and everything.
So the effects of this poisoning would cause convulsions, gangrene, vasoconstriction, which is basically where your body contorts and does like when we've seen on exorcism type movies and shit.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pale skin, hallucinations, and it also affected the hormonal balances of women.
Wow.
So remember all of that. Okay. As we dive into this, remember ergot poisoning. Yes. Ergot poisoning. And they didn't know that they had that.
That was just like a fungus or a mold.
It was a fungus mold thing. Yeah. So Salem had a hard time keeping a preacher, having gone through 3 and 5 years. And then in 1689, Samuel Parris decided to take the position. He was going to shape things up and make Salem super godly. Super godly.
Samuel Jackson Parris. Sorry.
Samuel L. Jackson Parris.
Samuel L. Jackson Parris.
We're going to get godly in here, motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
All right.
Sorry.
So he would crack down hard on people who did not live by his teachings. He made members be baptized and announce their faith publicly, and some people like this, but some people didn't. There was growing tension, and that would just make Parris ramp up his hellfire and brimstone teachings. He would hoop and holler spiritual rules, and if these rules weren't followed, you would be banished to hell.
Oh, they kicked him out of the town too.
Thou art banished. Remember that, Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, leaveth thou town. You are not welcome here in Commonwealth.
Banished? Banishment?
Yeah.
Sorry, Romeo and his weeping.
Yeah. See ya.
So then he would use his sermons to talk shit about Salem's committee members. So he had his own little agenda.
Right.
So after a short time, the villagers grew to hate him and refused to pay his salary. But one guy really loved Samuel Parris, and his name was Thomas Putnam.
Oh,
Remember the Putnams. They are very important in this entire
Putnams
story.
are important, y'all.
Putnams are important. So their friendship would later be super toxic, and Putnam would start to financially back Parris so he could continue his preaching. So Samuel Parris lived with his wife Elizabeth and his 9-year-old daughter Betty, and then 11-year-old Abigail Williams. Abigail was a relative that had moved in with them when her parents passed away. He also had a Caribbean woman for a slave named Tituba.
Cool name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And it is important to note that all of his household ever heard about was devil this, devil that.
Propaganda this.
Eternal damnation.
Fear that.
Hellfire and brimstone. And how the town is just full of evil. That was every day. That was everyday life.
Evil.
So in January 1962, shit started to go down. Okay.
1962? 1692. She's done it twice. I love it. I'm going to leave it.
Dyslexic. Okay. So the girls in the Parris home, Betty and Abigail, would wake up in the middle of the night screaming, convulsing, and contorting.
They were sick.
The adults were terrified, but helped them calm down and then asked what happened. They had no explanation other than they felt a little sick and feverish. They treated them with some home remedies, but the fits continued. Parris went right to, this is the devil.
Devil.
So he had Dr. William Griggs come evaluate the girls, and sure enough, he couldn't figure out what was wrong. So his official diagnosis is that they are bewitched. So all of Reverend Parris's fears have now come true. Someone is using witchcraft on his family. He knew that he had to keep this a secret, but guess what? Word got around fast. Other ministers would actually witness to their fits, and soon enough, it was no doubt in anyone's mind that witches were operating in Salem.
They're there.
Hypothetically. Rumors and hysteria would spread like wildfire. Then more girls in town started experiencing the same fits,
They're
including
all the same fucking grain.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, and what a lot of these girls, I don't mention a lot of their ages because there's so many people that play into this whole story, but most of them were either preteen age or already teenagers. And remember, I said that ergot poisoning affected your hormonal imbalances.
So they were like sick.
Or if it made you have hormonal imbalances.
Yeah, they were sick and going through some shit. So it was,
right.
It was making
there was a lot of things.
Intense.
Right.
Instead of just laying there and being sick, they were going through emotional bullshit at the same time.
So more girls in town started experiencing the same fits, including orphan Elizabeth Hubbard, who was living with her great uncle, Dr. Griggs. That was who evaluated the other two. Okay.
Okay.
So he and his wife actually treated Elizabeth like a slave. So it's believed that she grew tired of this treatment and wanted the same attention that the other girls were getting. She said that the people of Salem were visiting her in her dreams and physically harming her by pinching or pricking her with needles while she was lying in bed.
So she's young. She's a teenager going through some shit.
She was actually hold on, we'll get there. But she was actually the older. So she was basically saying the ghost of very much alive people, of neighbors and friends, was doing this to her, was coming and visiting her in her dreams.
So you got to think of like what they're being beat into, right? When they go to church, all the sin, all the hell, all the
witchcraft
stories.
Is everywhere. The devil is everywhere. Pray away the devil, devil, witch.
Right.
Yeah. So her testimony was more believable because she was around 17 years old. And hysteria grows even more, and everyone is a suspect. Then the daughter of Thomas Putnam, 13-year-old, that's a teenager, 13-year-old Ann Putnam also began experiencing the bewitched fits. Thomas Putnam was the son of one of the richest men in the area, but had only received a small portion of that wealth when his father died. And that pissed Putnam right the fuck off. Because he had a big family and he felt like he was entitled to more of that money. Right. But he blamed all of this not on his father, but on the devil.
The devil took my money, son of a bitch.
I cannot scream.
Was
I
it
want
like
to scream
Jose
so bad. I know.
Devil.
Love you, Jose Megan.
Right.
That's our favorite DJ on Liquid Metal.
XM Radio.
On XM Radio. What's the other one that he does?
Octane.
Yeah. Yes.
Every time we see him, he'll just like grab us and he's like, yeah, sure, take a picture, bro. What's up?
Oh, we saw him right on the streets of Jacksonville right by the 1904.
Hung up the phone, whoever
he hung up the phone to take a picture with us. Yeah. We were so privileged.
If you listen to XM, listen to metal. Shout out Jose.
Then we got another one at Rebel Rock Flop.
Yeah, the Rebel Rock Flop.
But it was his day. We actually got to attend Taco Party Day, which was Jose's idea.
And he's standing around. He's like, yeah, shit, come and hang out, And I see him at Rockville here and there, and he's
he's at every Rockville.
And he's just like,
he was at Louder Than Life too, right?
He's like, yeah. He's like, what's up, bro? And he just comes up, he'll hold the phone for you. He's cool like that, like to be at that level. And just, I'm sorry, but. He is.
Ain't nothing cooler though. Love you, Jose Megan, but ain't nothing cooler than Eugene from Ginger grabbing my phone to take selfies. I mean,
I called it.
That was awesome. He grabbed my phone, and I love you, Eugene. Eugene from Ginger with a J. Look them up if you like to hear a woman have deep guttural.
She sounds like Randy Blythe from Lamb of God.
Yeah. But she has a beautiful melodic tones as well.
He can sound like that too.
And then Eugene is the bass player, and he is my favorite. Yeah. But I love the whole band. And then you got Vlad on the drums, and then you got Roman on rhythm or lead, basically, because he's the only other. Yeah, there's bass and lead, right? I got that right?
Bass and the single guitar that does both, basically. Yeah. Yeah. So what are you guys thinking so far? Like, I know she's just getting her feet wet in this.
Oh yeah, they're not even. They're only a little moist.
This is gonna be a two-parter. I'm excited. Yes. So share it to your friends. Everything. We still got the website kicking. We still got everything going. DrinkaboutSomething.site. Just go there. Everything's gonna be there. And
I'm sorry, I've been saying our email wrong this whole time.
Don't worry about it.
No, I want to say it. It's drinkaboutSomethingPod@gmail.com, correct?
Yeah, but you don't need that. You need just the website.
But you can go to drinkaboutSomething.site and get all of our links. Yes.
We're gonna plug that forevermore.
DrinkaboutSomething.site.
And I won't hold you up anymore.
Send us an email. Okay.
We have millions of crazy stories. We've met some people. We've just awesome people. You guys are awesome people. Go.
Yes, let me keep going. All right. So other ministers started preaching sermons on this subject, and fear and paranoia was widespread. One minister experienced these fits firsthand and told his congregation all the bewitching details. Then the Salem court system stepped in. The officials were called magistrates and opened an investigation. These investigations began on March 1st, 1692.
Yay. They did it again.
And they start with Ann Putnam. She tells the magistrates that Parris's slave, Tituba, had been casting spells on her and sent an apparition to her at night that would pinch and prick her skin. She also says that her neighbors Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne are witches too.
She'd been working them roots.
So Sarah Good was an outcast. She had been married multiple times, and her and her current husband were very poor. They had to rent rooms from people to survive. She also had 2 children, and their family was considered to be beggars. So most of the accused will go on to be female and of the lower class. Remember that.
Right.
Most of the people in Salem hated Sarah, making her a prime target. Sarah Osborne was also not well liked. She was poor and struggled from anxiety and depression. She married a servant in her second marriage, and they had actually moved in together before marriage, which was a big no-no with Puritans.
Big no-no.
Big no-no.
You got to have... So
it's still frowned upon, and we're in 2024.
Puritans are more like the hole in the sheet type thing, right? Is that right?
I mean, I'm not really 100% sure on that, but if I had to guess, yeah.
If you're a hole in the sheet person, please hit me up.
If you're a Puritan descendant,
if you use a hole
send
in
us
your
an
sheet,
email.
I want to know about it.
Drink about something pod@gmail.com.
No, do mine. The site, the website, whatever.
Do both, yes.
Hole in sheet.
Okay, so the magistrates then interviewed Betty, Abigail, and Elizabeth, who also accused the same women. So magistrates John Hathorne. Okay, it could be Hathorne or Hawthorne. I've heard both. I'm going to go with Hathorne.
Yeah, that sounds more British.
Okay, so magistrates John Hathorne and Jonathan Corwin felt that they had their witches so far. So they got Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne so far. But that's not even enough for a coven. So you know they got to go after more.
Some holy sheets.
So they bring these women in for examination. Now, keep in mind that Tituba was Reverend Parris's slave, and it is said that she received quite the beating before this examination occurred, so she would be more cooperative.
So you mean the good Reverend had something like that around him? Mm-hmm. The good Reverend couldn't find that out?
So Tituba was kind of like the Jessie Miss Kelly of this story.
Oh.
Yes. So Hawthorne asked Tituba, what evil spirit do you have familiarity with? And why do you hurt these children? But she pleads her innocence. And Hathorne asks, well, who is it then? And she realizes they will never truly believe her. So she says, the devil. She says, the devil came to me and bid me to serve him. Hathorne was pleased, but he wanted more info. So she said, there are 5 more witches who are afflicting the girls. And by the way, all the girls acting like they are bewitched will go on to be called the afflicted. She said the 2 of them were Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne, and said the other 3 are unnamed at this time, were the ones that are afflicting the girls, and said that if she didn't hurt the children, that they would hurt her, the witches.
Right.
So she goes on to say that the night before, there had been an appearance that told her to kill the children. She said the appearance was sometimes like a hawk, sometimes like a dog, sometimes a man trying to seduce her with pretty things. What does Black Phillip say in The Witch? Does thou want to live deliciously?
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite part of the whole movie.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Yes.
When
this goat turns into a man.
That's right.
And it was
That's
like,
right.
yes. I'm like, fuck yeah.
You know,
I remember when we were watching it with one of our old friends, and they were like, if that goat talks, I'm walking out the door. And then the goat talked.
They didn't leave, though.
Black Phillip. Okay. I love it. I love it so much.
A tripping ass movie.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorite slow burns.
We watched that not too long ago. That was really crazy.
Mm-hmm. And I love how they talk in all that old Puritan language. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
They farmed shitty crops and they prayed.
They really did farm some shitty crops.
Yeah.
Piled them together to leave them out in the weather and just shucked them out, ate them.
And accused all of each other, their whole family, of being bewitched just constantly. So sometimes the appearance was a rat, one red and one black. And she admitted to pinching and pricking the girls, and that the Sarahs, both Sarahs, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne, were strong witches, and they would form into hairy creatures and winged creatures, odd 2-legged creatures, and women in white hoods with a top knot, or a man dressed in black with white hair.
So you sure this Caribbean woman that probably doesn't speak very good English
No.
and has been beaten and is a slave, right? Are you sure she wasn't led into saying all this?
Oh, I'm not sure at all. I'm 100% sure she was led into it.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say it for speculation purposes, 95% sure that she was beaten and told what to say.
Right. Exactly. So here we go, right? The Jessie Miss Kelly of the 1690s.
Of the 1692, yes.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
So she says the witches would ride on sticks and sick wolves on their victims.
Where are those at? I've never found one of those yet. I want to be like Harry Potter. I'll play some Quidditch.
I want to play some Quidditch. Exactly. Where's my broom? I would much rather ride a broom than drive my minivan.
Okay, so we're doing a lot of true crime stuff, and it ties into devils and witches and all kind of stuff lately. Find me somebody that can bring their ass over here and teach me how to ride a broom. Teach me how to Dougie.
We got 3 of them. We got one in the kitchen, one in the garage, one on the back porch.
I'll make one.
We got 3 qualified automobiles.
Yeah, we'll turn that into a broom.
For witches.
Or whatever. I haven't found anything that we can turn something into.
2 are Mr. Clean and 1 is an O-Cedar.
We have got
to
make
the name brand.
Something change
like
something.
They should
other
be
than making
better.
somebody sick, right? So that'd be the only thing that you can brew up to give somebody or something, make them sick.
Right. John Hathorne was convinced that she had sealed her fate, but still wanted more information. He asked, "Do you see who torments these children now?" She says, "Yes, Sarah Good, she hurts them in her own shape." And at this point, Tituba is done and says one of the other witches has taken away her sight, and she screams, "I'm blind. I'm blind."
Oh, so she's the afflicted now.
Now she's kind of afflicted, right?
But she's probably realizing that there's no way out other than
she
death.
is playing into their narrative because she's a scared slave woman of color.
I guarantee you at the beginning of this, they told her if she would have told the truth and she would have said every word that they wanted her to, she would have been fine.
Of course.
But now at this point,
and we'll get to that,
she has convicted herself, basically, and she's going to die.
How would you feel if you were a slaved woman that belonged to scary white men that all they talked about was the devil and witchcraft all the time?
I bet the good reverend had a hole in his sheet for her, too.
Oh, my God, stop it.
I'm sorry.
So they took Tituba right to jail, and the Sarahs, both of them, Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne. They shackled them all together in iron because it was believed that iron would suspend a witch's power. But the afflicted girls still continued to get fits. So the next to be accused was Martha Corey, the wife of Giles Corey. I've heard Giles and Giles. I'm going to go with Giles. Okay. Giles sounds cool.
It does.
Okay. So they will be mentioned more later on. So they had been members of the Puritan church for forever, but were still somehow seen as outsiders. And Martha was considered one of the most scandalous women in Salem. Giles was her second husband, and her son from her first marriage to Henry Ridge had darker skin than her or Henry, making people speculate that she was an adulteress. And with a non-white person, she was an adulteress. So I just want to say something right now. How many times do I get asked what ethnicity I am?
Every time we go out, they don't. I mean, you're
and what
Mexican,
is my DNA?
You're 99% Caucasian. I probably have some more weirder DNA than you do.
Right. So Ann Putnam says that she has seen the specter of Martha Corey, and then Martha Corey was arrested. Mary Walcott and Mary Warren joined the afflicted, also having fits and saying that they had visions and night terrors. So the next accused was not a poor outcast, but an actual Puritan saint named Rebecca Nurse. She was a mother, grandmother, had lived a pure life, and was highly respected in town. But she had disputes with one family.
It was them.
The Putnams.
The Putnams.
They were next door neighbors and had been feuding over property lines for years.
Oh, yeah. I kind of remember some of this history now.
Did you watch The Crucible?
Probably have, but I'm not really sure.
It's been years since I have.
Yes. She's fixing to be. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So, of course, the girls accuse her. Starting to see a pattern yet? Seems like everyone Thomas Putnam doesn't like, his daughter accuses them of witchcraft. So Rebecca Nurse being accused was shocking to the community. Her brother was also Sarah Osborne's first husband. So now we've got Tituba, Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, Martha Corey, and Rebecca Nurse.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they're all going after him because he uses holes in his sheets.
Rebecca Nurse was so old and sickly that she had to be physically dragged to the courthouse for her interrogation. Wow. In the courthouse, Abigail Williams said that Rebecca had terrorized her that very morning, and that Ann Putnam falls to the ground screaming and contorting. John Hathorne steps in and questions her, and before she could answer, one of the afflicted screams, "Did you not bring the black man with you?"
Oh, God.
Yeah. So Rebecca pleads her innocence over and over, but it didn't matter. Sarah Good had a daughter named Dorothy. And on March 24th, John Hathorne issued a warrant for Dorothy. She was 4 years old.
A warrant for a 4-year-old girl?
Yeah.
And she's a witch too, right?
Yes,
They're
because
right
she
together.
was, you'll see that if one person gets accused, their family members started getting
The whole
accused.
family rolls on down, right?
Right.
Oh, God.
So the afflicted said that little Dorothy had been biting them in her dreams, and they actually had bite marks to prove it. Obviously, they were biting themselves, but no one thought of that possibility. So they also said that she would beat, choke, and pinch them and demand that they sign the devil's book. This is a 4-year-old girl, and the afflicted their ages ranged from 9 to 17 years old.
Right. The difference
A 4-year-old.
between getting bit by like a bulldog and a Shih Tzu. Right.
So they put this poor little toddler in a cell by herself and interrogated her for weeks. And then they just left her in there with a bail of 50 pounds. Mary Warren finally came forward and said that she hadn't actually been afflicted and hinted that the others were making it up too.
So, like, if you're looking back that far, I'm still hung on the bite thing.
I know.
How could you not look at the shape of a mouth versus a
They
grown
didn't
adult?
care. They wanted this to happen in their community.
Well, it's just like West Memphis 3
It
with
was
the turtle
exciting.
bites. Yeah, those
Right.
are turtle bites.
It was
Finally, a dude
exciting.
held his fucking
It gave
arm
them
out.
something to do.
And they're like, there's this arrow-shaped bite, but that was done by them guys that were raping and killing these boys. It was a turtle.
Right.
Turtle.
And in an area that was literally called Turtle City.
Right.
And it happened in the month of May when reptiles are the most
functional
aggressive.
breeding season. Yeah. Sorry. Y'all go ahead. Okay.
So this shocked the community, but right on time, the other afflicted filed a formal complaint against her in April of that year of 1692. Then her master, John Proctor, and his wife, Elizabeth, also became subjects. Mary Warren was pardoned, but not the Proctors. So Ann Putnam then reveals another witch, but actually a warlock, Giles Corey.
Oh, they brought a dude into the mix. Yeah.
Oh, there'll be more. So Giles Corey was the husband of Martha Corey. Then they brought in Rebecca Nurse's sister, Sarah Cloyce.
And that's what they called them correctly. The dudes were warlocks.
They still called them witches back then.
I still felt like if I was a dude, I would still just be a damn witch. I think warlocks are more like wizardry, like dark wizardry to me. You know.
Let me repeat that really quick. So we've got Giles Corey, which was the husband of Martha Corey. Then Rebecca Nurse's sister, Sarah Cloyce. And then Abigail and Deliverance Hobbs. There's a lot of people with the same fucking name, so it's confusing. So this is a different Abigail than the one that's afflicted.
Right.
This is now a witch. Okay, so then we've got Mary Easty and Bridget Bishop.
Yeah, I'm not keeping up.
Then it's so much.
I'm just gonna ride this wave.
Then a minister named George Burroughs. Now, he had been a previous minister in Salem, but shortly resigned when he found the crowds too difficult to preach to. And they fought with him over salary and parsonage. And you know what parsonage is, right? Where they have to provide a home for the preacher.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he had to go live with the Putnams.
The Putnams. And yes.
So during this time, he had suddenly lost his wife. And he had 9 children to care for. So he married a rich widow named Sarah Hathorne. Okay. So everybody's starting to tie in together here. Okay. So there's so many freaking Sarahs. Oh my God. And Sarah had been previously married to Judge John Hathorne's father, William Hathorne. And this marriage angered the Hathorne family. Okay. So there's Judge Hathorne over here.
Yeah.
He's got this now accused male witch who was married to his mother. Okay. So by April 30th, 1692, no one had been tried yet. And the afflicted still acted tormented every single night. The magistrates didn't want to act too hastily, and they were still looking for the man in black that all the girls spoke of. And they suspected this to be the devil.
It's Johnny Cash.
When I was arrested, I was dressed in black. Oh my God, y'all, I love Johnny Cash. We're going to cover him later on because that man's story is absolutely phenomenal.
We're actually going to go over like rock stars.
We're going to do some coverage of musical in the future, so stay tuned.
Music people. I want to do that so bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've got a list already. Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing next, but
I will decide. Yeah. I'm still getting there. So
we'll let you know next week.
So when George Burroughs was arrested, there was a huge thunderstorm that was thought to be Satan's attempt at rescuing him. So he goes on to be examined by his stepson, John Hathorne, and he was accused of using witchcraft to murder both of his ex-wives. Anne Putnam confirms this by saying that she had been visited by two shrouded women in her visions and that said they had been brutally murdered by their husband, George. He was also accused of possessing superhuman strength. And this was unusual for a Puritan minister. Most of the time, they were pale and underfed. And I don't know why. Like, was that a godly thing? Like, you had to fast all the time?
No, they weren't eating that shitty-ass grain and corn.
They were feeding it to their teenage children, yeah.
You know, they were fucking jerking.
But they didn't know. They had no idea that fungus existed at the time.
Of course, they weren't. They were pale. They were sick. There's some neurological thing.
I mean, there was a whole lot of shit going on with these people.
They're eating the fungi.
Mm-hmm. It was said that George could haul massive loads over long distances without any help, and he could travel as fast as a horse. And that's witchcraft, okay? But George said that he did this all from the help of an indigenous friend. But the magistrates say, nope, it's the devil. So one of the accused, Margaret Jacobs, actually confesses because word had gotten out that if you confess, they would let you live. But she implicates two more men whom she claimed to help her serve the devil, George Burroughs and then her own father, George Jacobs. These people had absolutely no imagination of names because everybody is like Sarah, George, John, Mercy, and Abigail. Like, oh my God, it's so confusing. I hope you guys can follow along.
That's what I just said. I couldn't follow. I'm already lost.
So now they think they have captured the leader of the coven, and that's George Burroughs. Oh, they think he's the leader. They think he's the man in black.
Yeah.
Right.
Ah.
So George then has full body examinations. And in these examinations, they would look for strange markings. And if they were found, they would be stabbed with a sharp pin to see if they bled. But if they did not bleed, then that was the stamp of Satan.
So if they bled, they're good.
They're good. If they didn't bleed, that means that they had like supernatural powers.
Well, hopefully they bleed. I mean, you know.
Well, he passed this exam, but was still kept behind bars.
Ah.
So the jail was starting to get overcrowded, and then more and more started confessing, but then they would name more accomplices. It's like they would confess, yes, but this person helped me do it, and that person helped me do it.
Lives are on the line.
On the line.
So they're coming up.
They're scared.
No, they're coming to their houses first, and they're asking more about it, right?
Well, it's whoever the afflicted name. So I think it's 6 girls are now claiming that they're having fits, convulsions, body contortions, visions, everything. They're the ones that are naming these people.
Not to count all the sweating and
sickness pretty much,
that they're going through, right?
Right. But it's pretty much all the people that Thomas Putnam don't like or feels is outcast and don't belong in town. He's got it out for him. Yeah. Right. Between 1692 and 1693, 200 witches are named. Some of these
in one fucking town.
In one town.
In one town.
In one
200
town.
witches in one town.
Mm-hmm. So some of these so-called accomplices are William Hobbs, Edward and Sarah Bishop, Nehemiah Abbott Jr., Mary English, Susanna Martin, Dorcas Hall. That's one right there that I would actually think is a witch just because of her name.
Yeah.
Dorcas Whore. But
her last name is Whore.
Yeah.
She has no holes.
Philip and Mary English
in their sheets.
And Sarah Morey. But these were all friends and family of the already accused. So this influx delayed trials. Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne, some of the original, were struggling pretty hard. Now, this is in a short period of time. So, yes, a lot of people are named in a short period of time, but they've only been jailed for about 2 months at this point.
Which
but they're
is a fucking long time when you're sitting there going under all this.
They're rotting, I'm sure. They're not. And so Sarah was pregnant.
Oh,
and she already had one of her little girls, Dorothy, was already in jail.
The 4-year-old.
The 4-year-old.
Right.
So Sarah had to give birth to her child with no help from anybody but her fellow inmates.
Wow.
She named her Mercy. There's so many Mercies.
That's sad.
Yeah. She named her Mercy, and that poor baby died shortly after birth. Sarah Osborne died in prison on May 10th, as she was already in poor health before her arrest. The trials continued into the summer. Bridget Bishop, one of the accused, is brought up to Gallows Hill. Bridget had a bad reputation, known for having wild drinking parties, and she had been widowed 3 times. And because of this reputation, she took priority in the court's eyes and was sentenced to hang. She said she was innocent of being a witch because she didn't know what a witch was. And the magistrate said, "How do you know you're not a witch if you don't know what one is?" And she had no answer. So on June 8th, 1692, she is the first to be sentenced to death for witchcraft. And on June 10th, she is the first to be hanged. And that's where we'll pick back up for part 2 of the Salem Witch Trials.
So, okay, as far as America goes, they're not burning them over here, but they were in Europe.
They did burn them in Europe and in Scotland, I believe. I want to cover those probably next year around this time.
Yeah.
Those witch trials, because the English ones are fucking brutal.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going up in September next year. We're going up.
We're going to Salem.
We're going to do a whole ass road trip. I'm ready for that.
We're doing a spooky New England road trip.
Eastern
Seaboard. Yeah.
Everything up the Eastern Seaboard. We're going to see every state. A lot of American
We kind of want to
history.
catch Corpsewood Manor. That would be cool.
Okay.
If we can do it.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. And I want to bring back some rocks from there.
Yes.
My plan is if we can hit Corpsewood Manor, that's our OG starting point for podcasting.
It's our numero uno.
We're all going to go. And I already have some friends that want to go with us.
Oh, okay.
They're going to meet us there. Yeah, I have some friends that want to meet us there.
Exciting.
I'll tell you about that later. I'm gonna hucklebuck out some rocks, dude. Like some of the actual bricks, because it's laying everywhere out there. And my plan is we're gonna keep a couple of them, but we'll send them out to some of our really true ass followers, friends, and people that support us. That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're not probably a year from now. I don't know how big we'll be, but we don't want anything from this really at this point. Still. We just want people to listen and give some feedback. That's all we want. And the people that give some feedback and listen and everything a year from now, I'm going to mail out some bricks from Corpsewood Manor, the OG. And we'll just, we'll sign it and write a little episode, send a little something, maybe some merch by then. That'd be cool, right? What do you think?
Yes. Stay with us as we grow.
As we're growing.
We're growing.
So that was what you were saying about Salem, period, everything that's happened in Salem and what has went on, especially around that time, for sure. This could be a 20-part episode. Because if you didn't get into anybody's personal homes, what they did before all that's documented. All that shit is still there. But later on,
There is a book that I do recommend. I haven't actually 100% finished it yet because it is 15 hours on audiobook on Spotify Premium. And it is called The Six Women of Salem.
Yeah, I'm just drinking now. You talk.
So it's on it's on Spotify Premium, or you could probably get it on Audible. But yeah, I'm about halfway through it. And it gives a little backstory into the 6 original accused.
American history, everything that you know leading up to, for sure, one holiday, Halloween, around all of that. All the movies, all the propaganda, all the stories, everything around the witches, right, in Salem. So this it is a very huge thing. I guarantee
makes me sad because, like, even in the English ones, which we'll get way more into, next year sometime, because that's a big one. Yeah. It's a big one. I mean, most of those women were just healers. Like, they would just use natural remedies to help people.
Oh, especially like in Ireland and stuff like that.
I mean,
Celtic people.
Watch Outlander. She was considered a witch because that's a fucking great series, you guys.
That's
Watch
our favorite.
Outlander.
Like, cheers.
Yes. High five on that. God.
And romantic too.
It's romantic. It's informational. I mean, and it really, like, of course the characters are fictional, but
that's just
it goes with the time period. There's time travel. There's everything. It's got everything you ever want in a series.
But as far, and I'm not saying anything about anybody's ethnicity.
We can't talk. We've had a few drinks, you guys. Sorry.
Anyhow.
And bacon.
Bacon and drinks.
Yeah. We had bacon, eggs, cinnamon rolls, Bloody Marys.
That just feels like, especially when they settle in Appalachia, it feels like home to me watching that show. And it was like, okay, I'm tying in some old ass roots. And I think those are even more your roots than, because I think I'm more I'm more northern.
I am, I think it was 86% Great Britain as far as my ancestry.com shit goes. Yes.
Yeah.
My genealogy. There we go. I said it without messing up.
But it really hits home a lot on just real stripped down ass people.
But I've got dark skin, dark eyes, and dark hair.
Yeah. You don't look anything like anything other than like Native American. Nothing. You don't look Caucasian.
How many powwows have you took me to where they asked me
almost everyone
what tribe I'm from?
Especially if I'm hanging out with some like true full blooded natives and stuff. They're all looking at you. I'm like, yeah, I'm along for the ride because of my wife. Even though he's the one that introduced me to that whole culture. I'm the one that they hire.
Funny.
Yeah, they hire me to come sing.
The Choctaw, the Moa Choctaw one we went to, they asked me if I was. I'm like, no.
Yeah, why don't you?
I would love to.
Yeah, it's a competition. You can make some money.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, she don't know shit about.
I don't know shit about fuck.
But hey, speaking of Native Americans, so November Native American month.
This is Indigenous month.
Indigenous month for First Nations people, right? Mm-hmm. Think about how many Native American women are missing, just have been murdered, and I'm going to go into that later on too. I've got some stuff saved. Yeah, maybe we'll do that next November. And so, like, if
we'll cover that all November.
Socially, or in anything that you're looking at, people, you see like the red hand over the woman's mouth, the red paint over the woman's mouth. It's kind of thinking about all the missing women that are just, I don't know what the heck's happening to them, but nobody investigates it.
Our ancestors, unless you are Native American ancestry, the things that our ancestors put the Native Americans through is unspeakable. It's absolutely.
Well, I'm not talking about
awful.
Past history. I'm talking about
now,
current,
right? Yes.
Right, fucking now. Keep an eye out for people. Whatever culture, whatever. Anything they are, keep an eye out for people, and think about our Native Americans as being an American. You should learn a little bit about the people that were here first. And I really enjoy, and I'm very enthusiastic about their religion and the way of life. They were closer to God than anybody else on earth because us dumbass people has twisted it, and I'm saying us because they look at me and I'm part of us, but I'm definitely not part of them. I'm not part of all the things that have twisted all the religion, all the cultures, and destroyed people's way of life. That's just so sad. It is. And I embrace culture. I want to see different ways of life. And I really enjoy that. That is something that's really been on my heart for ever since I was a little boy, So I remember going to Cherokee, North Carolina as a little boy. One of the big vacations.
Me too.
You too, yeah.
What's that? How old were you?
First Cherokee, probably 12.
So I was 8 the first time we went. Yeah.
Yeah. I was probably 10 or 12. Mm-hmm. And went up there and lo and behold.
And then I was 12 when I went to my first powwow.
Bird Chopper was there, like Rick Bird, which used to be a professional wrestler. Mm-hmm. Still friends with him, still love him to death. He was performing. Willie Bob, rest in peace, was there. He was a fancy dancer, and they turned on the little black lights in Cherokee. It was up on the hill. What was it?
But do you remember when we were in elementary school, Native Americans started getting the recognition that they deserve? Like there was people coming to our school and teaching us about it. Yeah. And things like that, and about the drum and
Jim Sawgrass and all the guys in Florida.
And our kids have not experienced that other than through us.
Yeah, we've even had
through school.
Jim's son came here one time and hung out with us, and just doing all that stuff was just really, really cool. Ghost Town in the Sky, that's what I was going to say. And Rick Bird was up there, and last time I was in Cherokee, full circle, 30 years later. Rick Bird's on the streets in Cherokee, and he's singing, just performing and dancing in Cherokee, North Carolina. He called me to sit down with him and sing one of my songs for them to perform with. He's like, no matter what, you cannot accept any money from here because it's a felony for you to take any money on the tribal grounds. And I was like, I don't want no money, dude. I just want to sit down and hang out with you. So it was cool. Willie Bob was there. The guys were there from Bird Chopper, some of the Cherokee guys, and they let me sing, and I was at a big powwow, 4th of July powwow in Cherokee, North Carolina. Hung out with Rick Bird on the streets. We weren't even at the powwow grounds where all the commercial stuff and the famous drums and drum groups and actors and all the big, the big powwow people. He's just over here hanging out by himself because he is Cherokee. Like, that's his family, that's his grounds, that's his place. He calls Jesse over there to hang out with him. That was amazing, But we don't have a lot of time on this, so I'm going to go ahead. And
what band are we plugging today?
I want to talk about, after all that stuff, goodness gracious, Lindsay. Goodness gracious. I want to talk about this band called Piss Test.
Warning, part 2 will be a lot of death. I just want to put that out there.
Piss
all right, Piss Test.
Piss Test is a punk rock group in Gainesville area. And I was playing in Gainesville at a place called High Dive, which is no longer there anymore. R.I.P. High Dive, right?
R.I.P. High Dive. We
Matt
had
Poe,
some good times at the
Matt
High
Poe run
Dive.
High Dive, and
that was one of my favorite,
awesome
favorite
stuff.
venues for when you would play or when we would just go to shows there because the energy was fun.
So the drummer
good
for this
hang
band,
spot. And that 5-star pizza right beside
fucking phenomenal in Gainesville.
Get 5-star pizza when you're in Gainesville.
But they're doing a lot of stuff in Lucy's now. They've redone Lucy's.
Lucy's is great. Lucy's has the best vinaigrette dressing you will ever have in your life. If you are a salad person, if you love you a good salad with a good vinaigrette, go to Lucy's.
And, my best friend Amanda went, I think, to Head PE. Mm-hmm. No, Chris went. Amanda was supposed to go. Chris went. No, I think Amanda went. Amanda went.
We love Head PE. Love you, Jared.
Head PE. What's up?
He got to play at Rockville this year. He's like,
they're in Europe.
We're usually playing at Jerry's Pizza. We're at Rockville, you guys.
Lucy's. But they're famous. They're fucking huge. They're unrecognized. Unrecognized.
And they put on, I feel ashamed because they're not in my heavy rotation of music, but live, Head PE live is the biggest vibe.
If you like new metal.
Ever.
If you like new metal.
If you like new metal, if you like rap metal.
They're like almost as underrated as Seven Dust.
Yeah. Oh, God. Seven Dust is GOAT, man.
But Head PE, I've opened up for Head PE like
a bunch.
6 times.
And those have been some of my favorite shows.
You big ass pregnant playing with Head PE.
Pregnant, not pregnant. Yes.
And we even seen him with a DJ once before he left, and like just a really cool band. They've been on.
My kid got to hang out with him in his his trailer.
2 of your kids have hung out.
You're right.
Jared and Head PE. They're just really cool cats, man. Like,
humble,
cool,
underrated and just out there, just still kicking ass with their art.
Their ass off. But
I'm gonna eat this bacon in my
eat
Bloody
that
Mary.
bacon. I'm gonna play some piss test. Check out piss test on everything. Really cool people. The lady that
I'm excited. I'm gonna hear him for the first time right now.
She came to our show. Her name was Buck. She was the drummer. Like she goes by Buck, right?
Oh, that's cool.
And she's like, "Your band's cool. Whatever. I want to check out." And she was at every show that we played in Gainesville. Like, so we hooked up, played a cool show with them. What was the name of that place we played at in Gainesville with Piss Test? It had the skateboard ramp and stuff in the background.
Was it the Swamp?
No, it wasn't the Swamp.
Fuck.
I can't remember.
We'll get back to you. We'll mention it in the next one.
We'll get back to you. Piss Test.
There's been so many venues we've been to.
So many.
Yeah.
So many. This is Piss Test. This song is called Everything Hurts. And check them out.
I'm so excited.
Just fucking check them out.
I'm going to be listening for the first time with you guys.
We're getting away from the metal. We're getting into some punk rock. And I want you guys to check this out.
Because we love all genres.
Love all genres. Send us some stuff. Check out Piss Test. Everything Hurts. Here we go.
Pterodactyl incoming.
Piss Test. Awesome.
Wow.
So
that was
awesome.
A good song.
It's so retro.
Everything hurts.
Didn't it sound like just
I like it.
Early 80s.
Very retro.
Maybe mid 80s.
Very throwback.
I love their sound.
It's really good.
Seriously, thank you guys.
Choice.
Thank you guys so much for letting us share
Follow
your music.
Piss Test, especially if you like punk. We need to get silence on that shit.
Isn't that
our
what
10-year-old is going through his punk era right now? Punk/emo era.
OG sounding punk rock, and Gainesville has the punk scene. Less Than Jake, Hot Water Music. Oh my God, they have some. Oh, we were in
Less Than Jake
show.
So back in 2000.
Come on, your memory. Come on.
13.
Yeah, it's an iron trap memory.
Yes. So back in 2013, I gave birth to our now 10-year-old in December of that year. So it had to be about August because we had went to a Gator game earlier that day. Yeah. I'm not a Gator fan, but Jesse got free tickets, and the college football experience is phenomenal.
And why not wrap it up with a Gator game and
so then we went
rock show?
Yeah, we went from Gator game to punk rock show. We went to a Less Than Jake show at the High Dive in Gainesville, and I cried.
Yeah,
because everybody was so stank.
It wasn't the music; it was the stank.
And the lead singer of Less Than Jake even said, "Boy, you motherfuckers stank."
And they did. Gainesville had.
My feet hurt. It was smelly. It was hot. I was done. I had to be at work at 6 a.m. the next morning. But
I was hanging out with a guitar player talking about his shit.
Jesse Jesse didn't understand.
Well, I was geeking. That was like a pivotal moment. He didn't
understand what I was going through. And I was just being
selfish.
A good girlfriend.
I was a little bit selfish. I'm sorry, Lindsay. But I've been listening to Les and Jake since I was like 15.
I was fine until if women out there relate to me. When you're pregnant, you can smell everything.
It was rain.
You can smell meat that's going bad 3 days before it goes bad.
It's a good punk show.
So just imagine all the sweaty pits in August. Yeah. And I had already, I was beat already. It had been a long day, but it was a good show. I just wish that more people would be deodorant enthusiasts.
Yeah, there's they're punkers.
And I still have that same. I mean, we go to a lot of festivals and stuff, and there's always a stank person around. Just get you some good deodorant. Reapply.
People always hold
put it in your bag.
Up, don't they?
You're allowed to have a clear drawstring bag. Use it. Put deodorant in there.
And don't be offended.
Jesse and I
think
reapplied
it should be
twice.
An open common thing
all day
where anybody at any time
you get hot, you get sweaty.
Anybody at any time
Especially
can just be like,
drinking.
Hey, bro, put something on. It should not offend anybody.
No,
because you're in your vibe. You've been camping. You've been doing whatever. If somebody just comes up to you, don't get offended. I think you should openly be able to say, "Hey, you need to put something on. You're a little stank," And honestly, don't be offended.
No, I was just thinking about that time we were at Warped Tour. And we were watching I Prevail.
The big tall guy.
And there was this huge pit, right? Huge circle pit.
Pits.
And this guy raises his arms up like, yeah. And Jesse's like, put him down, bro. Put him down. And then he did put him down. And then he puked because it was so hot.
Yeah. He would have a shirt on.
Okay, so if Warped Tour comes back, we are all about it. But I need it to be in a month where we're not going to die. Because Warped Tour is usually in July.
Back. It's coming back.
It's usually in July in Florida.
Orlando.
And if you don't live in Florida,
out.
Let me tell you something. If you ever want to experience what hell feels like, come to Florida in July.
I've done 3 Warped Tours.
In June, July, and August.
I know.
The second half of May, June, July, and August. And even September. Fuck.
It's perfect for a
It's hot right now.
We're
in November, and it has not dropped below 50 yet.
Did you know that the Northern Hemisphere is furthest away from the sun in July?
Well, why the fuck is it so hot?
It takes it that long to cool down. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Anyhow, science.
Anyway, but okay, so if Warped Tour, if you come back, please. But I Prevail is fucking amazing. Honorable mention to I Prevail. And this circle pit was so hard that it was like all the heat from the ground radiated upwards.
It really was.
And
humid, hot.
Oh
everything.
my God. And this man was so stank and had his arms up and he was just trying to rock out, bro. But then it was so hot that he got sick. So not only did he smell like sweaty onion armpit, he also vomited everywhere. And
he literally did right
it's
there.
Whatever. It's rock
and
roll.
we're at pit wall. We're at the wall of the
wall,
pit. And
yes.
he's like, right.
And we had our now 19-year-old there, and he was 12 at that time.
And he was pitting with me.
He was
really
pitting.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
We had took him to his first Rockville when he was 11, and he was in every pit.
What was that Motionless and White, New Year's Day, I Prevail?
Yeah. We didn't get to see Beartooth then because we got rained out.
We got to meet him, though.
But we got to meet them. Yeah. Beartooth, you signed my makeup bag. Caleb Shomo looked at me like, your makeup bag? And I was like, yes, my makeup bag. Because it was in, okay, so if you get an Ipsy subscription, if you get an Ipsy subscription, you get this cool little bag every month. And that month just happened to be it looked like a ticket. I still have it.
I had seen Shomo like a couple of months before that at Rockville. And I met him and I was like, I'm going to see you at Warped Tour, right?
Yes.
And so
and I didn't because I was watching in this moment when you went to go
I walked up,
your meet and greet
and
with
Lindsay's
Beartooth.
waiting in line the whole time. I just walk up. I'm like randomly nonchalant, look at Shomo, and I'm all like, you remember me from Rockville, bro? And he said, yeah, but he didn't. But still.
So I love Caleb Shomo so much that I started following his wife, Flora Shomo, and her little British accent is so cute. And she has a podcast that I can't not think of the name of right now. Top five.
Top five. Yeah.
And what they do
He gets
is
on there sometimes too.
yes.
Yeah.
What they do is they pick their top 5 of whatever subject they're talking about, like top 5 Office episodes or top 5 shows that you've been to, things like that, and then they discuss them. And it's a really good podcast. I definitely recommend that one. But yeah, we've been through some shit.
Yeah, and we got millions of stories.
We smelled some people.
We got millions of
but
cool
every
stories like
single
that.
bit of it is worth it.
I love it.
I love
it's worth
shows, concerts, festivals,
people, just entertainers.
tour. Yeah.
And it's not even about music. We love art. We love so much, and we're going to do so much more. And we're going to share these. I have a cool ass punk rock experience about a van breaking down. I'm going to share next episode.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you guys about that.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our Salem Witch Trials. There will be so much death. I will go into a few more players and then everybody that got convicted and how they died.
Yeah. And this
in the next one.
This is amazing. I can't wait for the second half. I'm going to be geeking all weekend. So share our stuff. Check it out. Everything is on one website. And she likes to share the Gmail, but the Gmail's on there too. You can talk to us on there too. Drinkabout
Site has all our links.
It's very easy, very, shareable. And we'll see you guys next week.
And if you follow us on our Instagram, every time we have when one of our episodes is published, I will share photos of people that are involved.
She is.
Yes. And like this
better.
week,
we're so new still.
Like this past week, when the third part of West Memphis came out, I shared all of our little heroes and angels, all their pictures. I shared Damien Eccles' book because it is highly recommended. It is absolutely wonderful. I've listened to it twice now on audiobook.
There's a lot of stuff on this one too, so we're going to share all that as well. I just can't wait. But I am excited about this next one. I'll see you guys next Friday.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.
At the beginning, we used GroovePad for our little intro, and we use Audio Editor, and we use BandLab, and of course, big, huge thank you to Buzzsprout for helping get us all this put together. Amazing. And we will see you guys next Friday. Love you guys. Peace.